Let's go now to Greta Van Susteren, my former colleague. She is in Washington, D.C., watching the presidential race very closely. So, you know me, I'm a big bloviator. You made fun of me on many occasions off the air in the hallway. I just bloviated for 9 minutes about the vice presidential debate. Is there anything that you would take issue with?
Well, you and I are very different. You tell everybody exactly what you think, and you help people think. On the other hand, I'm very different. As I sort of lay out the facts and let them sort of decide for themselves. I don't know. It's like, I don't know all the things you said about Senator Kamala Harris. I don't know them to be true. Those are things that she will have to answer to tonight. So I'm a little bit more distant than you are on these things. Now, I think you're right about Governor Mike Pence, or not Governor, Vice President Pence, is that he is not confrontational, and she certainly was more aggressive in her primary debate. So, I mean, there may be some sparks going back and forth. But look, this debate, vice presidential debate, is different from prior ones, which were sort of like almost like window dressing to campaigns, because both gentlemen running for president. President Trump is 74, Vice President Biden is 77, I think, and so obviously their age plays a factor, and there's a lot of attention on who might be one heartbeat away from being president. So this is going to be a very important debate, but I'm gonna let the viewers decide for themselves. But I don't disagree on your biography. I don't know it to be wrong, but I think tonight's a very important debate.
Okay. So my analysis based on facts, because that's what I do, is that Senator Harris is the most left-wing senator in that body. And that study has not been reputed by her at all, and it's there in stone for anybody who wants to see it. All right, all the analysis is there. All of her votes are there. So I don't believe we live in a far-left country. Okay, I don't believe we do. Wouldn't Vice President Pence then be very smart to go in and just rattle her cage on that?
Well, I think, of course, I mean, of course, he wants to be aggressive and point out the things that may not be popular to a good portion of the country. Look, there are a lot of people who are left in this country and looking forward to it. Who are looking forward to a progressive president. I don't know if they're going to get one or not, but as a tactical matter, people, when they run for president, you either run on the far right side or the far left side, and then comes a general election and the nominations and the debates, and so all of a sudden you see everyone sort of scurrying towards the middle to pick up the independents, the undecideds, and the moderates. So. Yes, I would expect that Vice President Pence would go after her voting record, as far left as it is. Likewise, I would expect that she would go after some of the things on the flip side, on the far right.
But there isn't any flip side on Pence. So he hasn't really done anything, so she can't go after him.
No, except that he is the vice president.
Step back, though.
Okay.
He can go after her all day long, and he should have, at least 5 or 6 things memorized that she said and what she's done. He hasn't done anything. He's basically Donald Trump's acolyte, an advisor.
Well, except that what she's going to say is that you are the vice president. You support everything the president does. If you didn't support it, why didn't you speak up and say something? And then to go through a sort of a litany of things that she might find unappealing about the president and his record. So he is a proxy for the president because he is a vice president to the president. So, in many ways, that the other person on the stage here is the invisible one, and that is President Trump.
Absolutely.
And that's where she will be focusing her attention.
And I think Pence would be crazy to go after Joe Biden tonight. He would concentrate on Senator Harris. Now, 4 years ago, it was Mike Pence against who? Against who? You remember who the VP was?
Kane.
Very good, because most people don't. I went out. I walked Holly the terror dog this morning. You know Holly intimately. It is story.
I know Holly very.
Okay, so there's like 1,000 COVID dogs in my neighborhood now. Before there were 3. Now there's dogs everywhere, and people are walking them. And and they always stop and chat. And I go, do you remember the last VP debate? It was Pence against. Nobody remembered Tim Kaine or anything about the debate. So tonight, that's got to change because the Trump campaign is now stuck because the president has COVID and because the first debate was a fiasco. I think that Vice President Pence could reignite momentum in that campaign if he takes a hammer to Senator Harris. Do you believe that?
I don't think it. Look, I think you have to make a decision as the debate unfolds. I don't think you can plan right at the get-go. I think you have to be prepared to go after someone aggressively, but also be prepared to back up. You can't really, because you have to see what your opponent does. If she comes after him aggressively, he needs to make a decision whether to sit back and act like that she's just going after him and overly aggressive. On the other hand, he might want to go back at her. But I don't think you can decide without. I think these are audibles, Bill. You make your decision as the debate goes down, what's your best strategy? But in anticipation of it, you be ready for everything. You study, and you study your opponent, you study the issues, you study your own issues and your own record, you study your opponent's record. But I think debates are audibles, and he's going to have to make a decision as it unfolds, just as she is. I don't think that.
But
I would not commit to the. If I were either candidate, I would not commit to either strategy. I would be ready for anything and read my opponent. Look, in the courtroom, we do that. You measure the evidence as it comes in, and you decide how you want to perform in front of the jury. Do you want to be an aggressive lawyer and go after the facts, or do you want to step back and act like this doesn't bother me? There's nothing there.
But
you call these as it happens.
But if the case is going against you, you've got to step
then
it
you
up.
Then you change strategy.
That's right.
Yes,
and
you
Pence
certainly change your strategy.
Pence is right. That's where he is. He's got to get momentum back to the Trump-Pence ticket. Hey, Greta, good to see you.
Go ahead,
the big
elephant
word.
in the room is the COVID. Okay, the big elephant in the room is the COVID.
Well, they're going to have a shield. They're going to have. They're going to have hazmat suits, and they're going to have a shield. They're going to have everything.
Well,
so I mean, I think
yes,
there'll be physicians
and the
standing by.
We would do this in the courtroom, is that you use something like that as sort of a visual, because even when somebody's not talking about it, they're thinking about it because they see the shield. And of course, the strategy for the Democratic campaign has been COVID. That the president, they say the president handled it well.
But it's going to be the same old thing. Trump stopped the flights. Harris going to say Trump screwed up. He didn't wear a mask. That's why he has it. Pence will say, no, it's not. The same old thing. That's irresolvable. If I were Pence, I'd have a COVID test right on the stage. I go, look, I need a 5-minute break. I'm going to bring him in and get a COVID test right now. Some stunt. All right, Greta. Thanks for helping us out. We appreciate it. I'm glad you're well down in Washington.
Bill O'Reilly is back on TV and only on The First. No Spin News, every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on The First.